You ever
Okay.
like play music on the breaks?
Yeah, music is something else I want to add. But anyways, welcome back to the going after our first break. So was that our second hour? First hour? I don't know.
Yeah, second
I was
hour.
thinking
Second hour. Our second hour of Once Upon a Game, where we are playing Lovecraftesque, a GMless prepless story game by BlackArmada Games that was recently released on Kickstarter. Just want to do a quick preface before we dive back into the game, is that this game does not require you to actually know Lovecraft. You don't have to know the mythos. You don't even have to have even read one of his stories or seen any literature about it. The game does a perfectly fine job about structuring the game to be like one of their stories. It's more about the pacing and that slow, weird clue that may or may not be suspicious into more clues that become more overtly dangerous and scary until finally confronting the final horror in the final part of the actual game. So, if you're ever wondering if you actually need to know Lovecraft, you don't. You do not need to know Lovecraft to play Lovecraftesque. So, that being said, let's go back into the game. So we just finished two scenes, which means we're almost halfway done. Part one, where part one is 5 clues, and we have just done a scene where I was the narrator, and then Robert was the narrator, and now we have rotated over, and Raz will be the narrator for this scene. So Raz will be the narrator, I will be the witness, which is our protagonist, and then maybe that's the wrong term to use, and then Robert will be our watcher for this game, for this round. Time is a flat circle, indeed.
Indeed it is. All right, so I'm reading the scene, and no, I think it happens a few days later. We'll say, so, was it Belfry?
Belfry's the
Yeah.
town drunk. Yes.
Belfry, yeah. Belfry eventually kind of seemed to snap out of his stupor and was let go. And like that strange music and all that, he's just kind of. I mean, we moved on from that, so
Okay.
it's like strange things, but a few days happened, nothing happened, and now we have Mama Wyatt, who's she's running into the town, screaming and hollering for what am I doing? Earl. Earl.
Mama?
There's something going on in town. There's something going on in mines, out by the farm.
Oh, what is it, Mama? I'll take care of it while the sheriff's off.
We're hearing screaming and hollering. I don't even know. There's wailing coming out of those mines. You can hear it all the way from the ranch.
Might be them Injuns. Oh, by the way, how are we okay with talking about in ways in a colloquial? Are we,
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, this is something I didn't actually talk about earlier. By the way, X card. If anything we do that's uncomfortable, anybody, you can say X, and we don't talk about it anymore. You have to explain it, and it's gone from the game. That's our safety valve while we play story games. So.
Yeah, no. As long as it's we're aware of it and we're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So there's nothing against Indians.
Yeah.
We're just
or
talking like
indigenous peoples.
Indigenous peoples of America.
Continue.
Native Americans. Okay. So anyway, I mean, it could be them Indians. They're screaming and hollering. I don't know what's going on, but since your father left us, it's just I don't feel like going out there alone and checking it out.
No, no, of course not, Mama. I wouldn't. Those mines are notoriously unsafe. That's why they've been abandoned. Let me go saddle up this horse here, and I'll be out there in a jiffy.
All right, Earl. Will you take care out there? Don't you get in,
Don't worry,
have any
Mama.
of
I'll
those-
protect you like I protect this town.
All right. I'll go back out to the ranch.
So,
All right.
time skips. The horse is ready, and we're galloping off. All right.
Yep. Yep. You come up to the entrance to the mine, and indeed you hear like howling. It's kind of like the wind, but you know that there isn't like any way that the wind should be coming out of the mine in such a howling fashion, because it only has, I mean, it has like some ventilation, but it's so far back that you shouldn't be hearing anything from the entrance.
Okay.
And there,
What does the
not
entrance look like? Does the entrance describe the entrance for me? Like,
It's
does
like,
it look like it's been recently opened, or like was it closed in the first
well,
place?
never.
You know
It
what I
was
mean?
never actually like boarded up or anything. I mean, they just,
Oh, so it looks more like a cave.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of like it has the pillars on either side and lanterns leading down, and there's a track for a mine
Are the
cart.
lanterns lit?
No, there's no lit lanterns.
Okay. Okay, cool.
And
I think it's darker than it should be for the time of day.
Cool.
all right, so
Woo!
it's like
Woo-wee! I better grab me one of them lanterns. And so
Yeah.
I think Earl grabs a lantern off the wall and lights, or like gets fuel for it or whatever.
yeah, it
and-
springs to life. The oil's old, but it's still good. It smells kind of weird, because it's been out so
Sure.
long.
There's an iron smell to the lantern, like a very iron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Earl does a little like riffle of his nose, like a crumpling of the nose, like of distaste, but continues. His hands on his waistband, like with his gun ready, while the other one's like holding the lantern above, and he's still wearing his hat, even though there's no point inside the mine and all that kind of stuff. But he's looking, and I feel like he's trying to call over the wind. He's like, hello,
So as you start,
You better get out of here right quick, or I'll come in there and start shooting.
Yeah. Are you heading into the mine?
Yeah, as he slowly,
Slowly
begins,
getting in there.
he's maybe like
As
10.
you-
He's like 10 feet in. You know what I mean? Like he hasn't gone very far, but
Yeah.
based on what the Watcher said, it seems to be like already dark,
Yeah.
right? Like light just does not penetrate into the mines.
Yeah.
And you
Cool.
don't even feel like any wind. It's kind of weird. I mean, it sounds kind of like how
So it
kind of
sounds
went
like wind blowing, but there's no wind.
through a cave. Yeah, but there's no wind.
Okay.
There's nothing right
It just
now.
sounds like a weird echo.
Yeah. But as you start actually going deeper and like looking for the source,
Mm-hmm.
it starts to actually sound like multiple voices. Like it's like, I mean, they're kind of like echoing and distinct, but it sounds like maybe like people wailing.
Voices I've heard before.
None of them sound familiar. At least not that you can tell with all the echoing and cacophony.
All right, I say, last warning now. Whoever's down here, you better get up here right quick, or there'll be hell to pay.
I
And
think
then oh, go ahead.
I think as the light is like flickering off the cave walls, like there's a sheen to the walls. Like they're like not soaking wet, but there's like kind of a wetness here.
Ooh.
Yeah. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
right like where it seems like
What's
like
it smell like?
cracked.
Um,
It's oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you can actually go ahead.
Okay, so it smells kind of like copper.
Okay.
Even though this
So it's still
I mean,
metal?
it shouldn't. But no, it's not like normal because this is a gold mine. It shouldn't be smelling like copper in here. There's none like copper instruments. It's wood and iron.
Okay.
You smell like, but kind of like the copper you smell. I don't know. It's hard to describe. Like ionized metal.
Okay.
And like as the walls seem to like shine the light more and more, like refract it, until you see like this weird crack in the wall that widens out, and that's where the voices seem to be coming.
Oh, from inside the crack.
Mm-hmm. And you can fit through it. It's large enough.
Okay. So it's more like a wedge than a crack.
Mm.
Okay. I shine my light through the crack. What do I see?
You actually see like it's weird. It's old. It's definitely old, but you see like the stone is carved. Like there's a hallway here, and it's like intricately carved with strange designs.
So it's not
Like-
natural.
Yeah, it's definitely not natural. It looks like someone chiseled out like a pretty hallway into this.
I
But
call
it's, like,
I call through
there's
the
definitely
crack.
old
Yeah, I
cracks.
call through the crack. Like, hello, anyone down here? You trapped?
you don't get a response other than like indistinct wails.
It's just the the continuity of the wailing sounds.
Yeah.
I keep calling off like periodically, like hello, hello, as I try to wedge my way through the crack.
It's easier than it should be because of like you can it's smooth, like the rock is smooth and wet.
Okay.
So you're going in. You're going deeper.
Yeah, we have to go deeper.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, you definitely go deeper, and you see. I mean, you go down. I mean,
Earl's
it's like
thinking.
this.
Earl's thinking that there's somebody trapped down here, or people, or something.
Yeah. As you go toward the end of this, through this hallway, you eventually get something. At the end, it's kind of like collapsed. There's no doors or anything. It's just like it looks like there was a cave in, and you see like there's if you like look up toward the top of the collapse, you see there's like a little bit of light shining through, like moonlight coming through. It looks like.
But it was daytime when I came in.
Yeah, it was daytime when you came in, but it was pretty late.
Okay, so it looks like some sort of light sources behind there.
Yeah, it looks like maybe that goes out to the outside, maybe, but it's like distant. It's just a faint light, and you can definitely see it a lot better when the wind actually, like you feel a little bit of wind pop up, and it just blows at your lantern. And
I go to relight it.
Well, you've never seen there.
Oh, okay. So, what was the clue?
I think we're gonna say the clue was strange hallway.
Oh, yeah, strange
or ruins. Ruins.
Yeah, strange carved ruins in the.
And I have a card to play.
Mines. Sure, play the card.
All right. Hold on, I'm gonna drag this out. And then I'm gonna make it bigger if I can. Hold on.
I only see the back of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it bigger. Hold on, and switch a bit.
Oh, fancy.
And flip.
Oh. Reveal clear signs of pre-human life.
Indeed. So, what are we doing? Okay.
So this is still part one.
This is for further scenes. So onwards from here, we're gonna start revealing signs of pre-human life.
Yep. So
or we can do that, right? Or
yeah, we can do that. Well, let me see. I think do you have to? No. You can call upon the card if you want. It's your choice. So you still have like pull over what goes on in the story, but you can definitely use anything from that card going forward. Pretty cool.
Good deal. I'll put that down here. Start making a list. Okay. Comes to me as the narrator, right?
Yeah, you would be the narrator again.
And I am once again the witness.
Cool. I think when the lantern goes out, Earl leaves the mines, thinking that there's nobody there. It's just some weird wind coming in from the mines, and goes to calm down his mother, and says there's not much he can do. It seems to be some kind of strange natural thing. Maybe he even boards up the He does. You know what he does? He boards up in a way to like stop the sound coming out from the mines. Whether it's successful or not, we don't know yet. But it's like the day after he finishes boarding up, and puts like the like the skull and crossbones or whatever, like danger, don't go down here.
Yeah.
Right. So he does that stuff, and now we're going to go to a farmer. A farmer on the outside of town. Higgs. Higgins is a middle-aged man, and he calls over to Earl and says, "Earl, I know you've been busy with Belfry and the mines and stuff from the other day, but if you got a minute, I want you to come here and check on my cows."
Well, what's the problem, Higgins?
Looks like something was attacking my cows. It happened last night.
Like an animal, or
Yeah, it looks to be like an animal. Uh, I don't know what it could have been, but I think I think it was another cow, which don't make no sense.
what? Oh, you're telling me a cow attacked another cow? Well, show me these.
Yeah,
This.
so he takes you out to like a prairie or like his field of cattle, and you see all the cow are like near the front of the gate, like they're
So
not going near the other side of the like the other half of the grassland that they can eat on. Like imagine near the front of the gate, like it's been just eaten up and it's all like mud,
right,
and then there's like a very juxtaposing line of grass, and they will
right.
not go near it.
What's
And then there's this terrible, terrible stench. It's like, I don't know. I mean, if you ever smoke decomposing flesh, it's
Oh
kind of like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
And
totally.
Yeah,
you can hear like the sounds of like hundreds of flies just like buzz around something in the distance.
yeah. I
So
think um, like Earl would just like put a handkerchief up to his nose and be like,
yeah.
"God damn it, Higgins! Does it always smell like this?"
And then Higgins says, "No, sir. That was since one night ago. I have no idea why. Like what caused this stuff. It's some devil work."
Well,
And
hold on now. Let's be a little bit critical about this situation. Show me what's going on here.
so he leads you into the pen, and the cows are all like anxious near the gate. They're all doing like the mooing and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah,
and they start trying to follow you to the grass, and then they get to the grass, and they just like immediately just back off. They're just like, nope, 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 nope. You know what I mean? And they all just like go back near the fence in the front, as far away from the grass and stuff. And you crest a small little hill of grass, and then you see sitting on top of a hill, you see what looks to be a eviscerated cow. You know what I mean? Just like
yeah,
and
yeah.
clearly it's the source of the stench, and there's some like raven and stuff like vulture kind of things like looking around, flying like in maybe like a nearby dead tree or something like that. You know what I mean? And they're all like flooding around it.
I think like yeah, as he's like kind of coming over the crest of the hill, and he sees that like distinct image. He's like, Jesus, Joseph and Mary, what what happened? What happened here? You think a cow did this?
Well, uh, Higgins shrugs, and you get closer to the deceased cow, and like the vultures and stuff fly off to like the trees and stuff, and look, wait for you to make something away so they can go back to eating or whatever. And you see that there's like a black cow,
Mm-hmm.
like in on the far other side of the pen, and its mouth is just like covered in like old blood, like just covered, and it's just sitting there, and it's eating grass right now, just looking stupid like a cow does. You know what I
Right.
mean? But it's just like it's a black Angus cow, and its mouth and stuff is covered in blood, and it's just sitting there eating grass. Just doing its chew thing.
Yeah, I think like upon seeing that like handkerchief still over his nose, like there's just like he's just staring at this cow that has blood, like dried old blood on its mouth, and it's just like
Yeah, it's like blood. Imagine like also on its like front chest and stuff too. You know what I mean?
right,
Like it's just been like
yeah,
it's dirty, it's messy.
right, and it's just like you you don't say what, and you like
What's it? Higgins suggests. I was like, should I get the priest or something?
That's so perfect, Raz. That's actually really terrifying right now.
Yeah.
But now, what good would a priest do with a bunch of cows?
I don't know, but I've never seen no cow attack another cow before.
I mean, did you see the cow attack this cow? Like, did you see it?
No, it happened at night.
And then, like, as if it can like understand what you're saying, suddenly looks up at you and just stares.
I think at that moment, I think you see that strange canary kind of flutter from the distance and land on a nearby fence post near this cow. And I think that will be the scene.
Yeah. Like that was good.
You okay there, Robert?
Just a little bit cannibal.
Yeah, that's fucking scary, right?
Yeah.
Terrifying cows.
Fucking love this game. All right, so that is number 5, which means, or no, it's number 4. So now, let's first review. Was there any personality traits we wanted to add to Earl Wyatt from this? There doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
I think maybe rational, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I tried to play him as like.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think we're all kind of feeling rational. So, now that we have these 4 clues, let's take a moment again to start thinking about how these clues could all come together to this eerie horror. So we had that dead canary that fell out of Belfry's pocket. We have Belfry's music occurring even when the player piano is stopped. We have those weird ruins in the old mines that were carved clearly by some sort of, mankind or ancient civilization. And now we have this weird cow that attacked another cow, supposedly.
Yeah.
Shit.
I have ideas, my friend.
Right now, I just have cannibal cow, question mark.
Yep.
Just think of like the craziest thing you can think of, kind of makes sense with all the clues you have. So
hey, don't share it yet.
Yeah, don't share it. But just
I'm not gonna share it.
Like
that
is the person who wants to volunteer.
Stupidest thing.
So I'm not sure if it's part of the rules or not, but I think after the first person goes, and then at the end of the game, when they reveal the horror, when we talk about the game, I'm totally on board with sharing like what you were thinking about it going and talking about that kind of stuff.
I've got a few
as we decompress with the game. So don't worry, really we'll all get to share our ideas at the end, but only one will be the real Highlander ending. But so anyways, Robert, you are the narrator for the next scene.
Number White once again.
All right. So I think I think so. We have followed Earl Wyatt and Higgins to the church.
Okay.
And right now, the Wyatt and the pastor, or is that right? Is it
priest?
Priest. Well, yeah, priest.
I don't know. Whatever you want. Reverend.
Yeah, the reverend.
I like reverend.
Yeah, are in an argument, like about basically like Higgins has dragged Earl here to be like this cow needs to be exercised or killed. I don't know what's going on, and Earl has like followed him constantly, like being like we don't need to bring in the fucking reverend, like and now Earl and Wyatt are Earl is in an argument with the reverend, and the reverend's like, oh, go ahead.
Father, I there's nothing in your doctrine that points to anything like this. And a cow eating another cow, really? I mean, it's kind of weird. I understand. It has blood in his mouth, but maybe something attacked it and it just was sniffing at the other cow. I mean, It makes perfect sense to me. I know it's eerie, but there's no reason carried away with all this nonsense.
Uh, the Reverend says, this man has obviously been cursed by some evil entity of Lucifer himself.
So you're saying that a demon possessed his cow to kill another cow? Father, is that what you're saying?
I do not pretend to know the intricacies of how the Dark One works in our world. However, I do know that he attempts to confuse us and to mislead us into thinking that this world is just the way that it is.
Oh, well, I knew you can go ahead and do whatever you want. Say your blessings over the cow and Higgins, and hopefully that'll give him some comfort. But as for me, I'm gonna find out what killed the cow.
And Eric, if you want to jump in with Higgins at any time, go ahead.
Sure.
And so does Earl like turn to walk away?
Higgins says to the Reverend's like, Reverend, do whatever you gotta do, but I tell you what, I'm willing to sell my entire stock here.
Sell your entire stock? What are you talking
Of
about?
cattle.
You're selling all of them? Why?
And he looks at you almost kind of dumbfoundedly, like,
Don't you need several
Well-
for breeding and keeping them on hand?
not if them cows be possessed. The town of Gabs has been going down since my pa's been around. Maybe it's about time I moved up and go to California.
Now, Mr. Higgins, you need not worry about having to get rid of your cows. If I can perform my sanctimonious rituals, then your cows will be just fine.
Well, it's not just the cows. It's the weird dreams and the hollering from that mine. It's those engine attacks from last winter. I'm getting out of here. Hey, my faith is as strong as steel, but my heart ain't in it no more.
Higgins' family has been on these lands for generations.
Yeah, my grandpappy was here at the fountain of Gabs, but
that's right. And just listen up, my friend. We've had enough people leave this town. I mean, they're Indians. We took care of them. You have dreams. That was terrible. And you know what? I hated that those wailings in the caverns. It was just a crack that brought the wind in.
I think
You blew out my lantern.
I think as you say that, as you give like this really rational explanation,
mm-hmm.
You notice out of the corner of your eye, the Reverend is like just staring at you, smiling, and his teeth are the same color as Belfry's was.
Oh, he's like really startled by this. Reverend, what have you been drinking? Have you even getting to what Belfry got into?
Actually, I think I want to end the scene there.
Yep. That's a good way to end the scene. But
okay, so
I'm gonna say,
Reverend green teeth.
Yep.
Maybe.
What kind of pale green, right?
Yeah.
Like when yellow turns to green, like that color.
Yeah.
Like almost like some sort of light green, turquoise, blue, almost weird green teeth.
So this is the 5th scene. So are we going on to part 2?
Yes. So now we go to part 2. Part 2 is similarly enough, very close to part 1, but now the clues can be more overt and more supernaturally kind of inclined. Part 2 sort of begins the the start of the path to the end of the final horror. This is where things start to begin to ramp up in a much faster way. During part 2, there's a couple things that can also happen, and I will read along from the rules so we all know what's going on. So,
All right.
Who will be the narrator of this scene? It would be you, Raz, right?
Yes.
All right, so go ahead and read the part that says at the end of the first scene in part 2.
From now on, at the end of any scene, the witness can begin the journey into the darkness that will lead us to the climax of our story, the horror. The final horror will happen somewhere dark, ancient, remote, or abandoned. This can happen in 3 ways. If, at the end of a scene, the witness decides to go somewhere that looks likely candidate for the location of the final horror, and it feels like it's time, the player of the witness can initiate a journey with that location as the endpoint. Alternately, if a part 2 scene from the narrator, the new narrator wishes to begin the journey, they can do so by deciding where the final horror will take place and initiating a force majeure scene. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Majeure, yeah.
Majeure scene, in which events conspire to force the witness to head for that location. Finally, after 3 part 2 scenes, part 3 will begin automatically with a force majeure scene. The narrator of the scene decides the location of the final horror.
Nice, thank you.
So we have 3 scenes.
Up to 3 scenes. So, that being said, so Raz, you are the narrator. So go ahead and.
So we're gonna start off right where we left off, where the Reverend smiles and Earl freaks out, and immediately, like before he can even do anything else, like that ling starts again. But it's not coming from a cave; it's right outside.
Oh,
sounds like 1,000 voices screaming in like anguish and saying like random words. It's like so much more distinct now that it's no longer in a cavern. You can like kind of make out sometimes these random words appearing, like your name and like die and
of like Earl Wyatt. Like, is it his full name?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you do, Earl?
What does the entrance to it look like again?
Entrance to what? You're not in the cave. You're in the church still.
Yeah. So like, what does the? I know, but what I'm saying
The
is,
entrance
does anything look different about the entrance from last time?
Oh, the entrance of the cave?
No.
Entrance
church.
to the church.
So like the very beginning
church.
when the church opened up. So I imagine like I'm trying to juxtapose from the first scene. Was there anything different?
No, nothing's different about the church itself.
Okay.
Except actually,
does it smell? Does it smell the same?
You smell that like copper, like ionized copper.
Yeah.
Like
from the caves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And
okay.
you hear that wailing outside, and actually, like the small hallway that leads out, like there's a little entryway. Like you see those strange, like ancient carvings again. Like it's been decorated since last time you were there.
In the church?
Yeah.
Where are the carvings?
Just like as if you were to
like in the pews.
Church, like no. It's just like right on the entranceway, like that little hallway that goes to the door.
Oh yeah. Okay. Are they like on the walls or are they on the floor?
They're on the walls.
They're on the walls.
On the walls. It's like it looks like decoration kind of.
I kind of like trace my I traced my finger around a couple of the symbols, like looking for some kind of clues, and I mentioned to the priest or to the reverend.
Something wet.
Oh, like it's like I'm probably like wearing my cowboy gloves or whatever, so like the leather gets kind of damp around like the fingertip, and I asked the reverend like, Reverend, like we've been getting some vandals in the church.
No, my child. Whatever. I'm trying to get a voice for the reverend.
That's fine.
Like, no, he's like, not at all, Earl.
I don't remember these symbols being in any of my my King James Bible.
He just smiles again.
This
And
pale
you still hear
teeth.
that wailing. It's getting more intense outside. And it sounds like it's right outside the door.
I open the door and peek outside. What do I see?
For like an instant, just an instant, you
Oh.
just see like this huge shadow. And it just looks like something with like its arms like have feathers that are covered, and like it looks like half bird, half person, and then just vanishes.
The shadow.
And the shadow vanishes and the sound vanishes. Everything's gone. It's just quiet out.
I clear what?
I think you, as the wailing vanishes, you hear like very quietly, just on the very edges of your consciousness, that you hear like almost in a lullaby form, just the tiny notes of that cacophonous.
Of Belfry's tune.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, so it's just a clear, starry night, and everything seems normal. The cow's out there; he's looking at you, chewing cud.
Wait, the weird cow?
Yep.
Isn't he? Shouldn't he be in the pen?
I thought he was in the church. Oh, he was near the church. He probably.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so he was brought back. Oh, it's the same night. That's right. Okay.
Yeah. There's still drawing on his muzzle. It's just like
I go to the priest. I'm like, shouldn't you wash off that blood, Reverend? Isn't that a little unsightly?
Well, there's ceremony to be had. We don't want to just wash it with plain old ordinary water, do we?
What Well, all right. I guess Earl kind of like guffaws a little bit and just starts and grabs like the the holy water you dip your hands in or whatever in the church. It's like whatever. I'll clean it myself.
And go ahead.
A little as you. Do you take off your gloves to do it?
No, I'm still holding my gloves to do it.
So as you if you put your gloved finger, the same finger that you rub the
I trace the symbols with,
like a little bit of it just kind of, not a lot, but just that there's a little sizzle to it as your
like finger... a sublimation effect.
Yeah,
I agree with this.
Okay. I think Earl takes his hand, recoils his hand back, maybe the basin wobbles a little bit or whatever, but it's steady, and he kind of looks at his hand, and he goes to grab the bowl again.
Oh, now is this time you can pick it up.
Okay, and he goes to all right, he takes the basin and
the priest's behind you though. He's going, son, what are you doing? You don't want to use that.
He's like, I'm washing off this cow. You
there
can help,
are
and
rituals.
And he says, you can help me or not. And he seems frustrated.
He's following you out, just complaining the entire time.
It's like, I'm cleaning this cow and taking it back to Higgins. If you won't do it, I will. There's been enough weirdness in this town these past few days. I'm going to set it right. And he's once and for all. So, and he's going to start by cleaning this cow.
The cow, the moment you get close, the cow bolts. As long as when you come close with the holy water, the cow just runs. And he runs directly toward the caves. And that's the end of the scene.
Gosh darn it, yeah. Dag nabbit.
Dag nabbit.
Billy Crystal.
Yeah.
What was the clue? What would be your clue, narrator, for this scene? There were several good ones, I think.
Yeah, I would say strange reaction to holy water.
Yep. Awesome. Fucking awesome. All right. That means it's my turn to be the narrator, right?
Yes.
Yes, dude.
I think I'm going to use that as the start for the force majeure.
All right.
I think that will be the event where the narrator is being led to the caves. And I imagine the cow's going like full sprint, and basically just like destroys the barrier, and you just hear a crash in the distance as like the camera looks to like Wyatt like rushing up like the hill or whatever to the stuff, and you just hear this loud break, and you hear like the cavern itself like gasp like it's breathing, and then you see Earl like rushing up to the old mines.
And those boards that Earl placed on there, like, they're gone. I mean, it looks like they were like ripped apart with magnificent force. It was just like broken, scattered from the inside.
Okay, so I think with that, I'm gonna read from the teaching manual part, the beginning of the journey into darkness. So we're about to start a new part of the game called the Journey into Darkness. This part is a single extended scene, and during the scene, we're all going to take turns describing the journey to the location of the final horror. A turn doesn't involve a lot of talking, just a few sentences. On your turn, unlike the rest of the game, you have free choice over what role to take. If you choose to be narrator, you describe the environment and move the journey on. If you choose to be a witness, you describe their inner thoughts and fears. And if you choose to be a watcher, you elaborate on whatever the previous player describes. We're going to play through at least 12 turns of these short little like lightning round kind of scenes. And then starting with the 12th turn, if we choose to be a narrator, then we can describe the witness's arrival at the location of the final horror. So, super cool. So, the cow has broken through and kind of destroyed into the great force the barriers and stuff that witness Earl Wyatt set up in front of the abandoned mines. The cow is now somewhere in this dark cave. Earl is standing near the front of it. And now we're going to start doing the lightning round of stuff for the journey.
Okay, so Robert chooses which one he wants to be.
Yep, we can do this in several different ways. Whatever works best for everybody.
All right.
If you have an idea, put it forward.
I'm gonna be a watcher.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll be narrator for the first part. So that makes Eric a witness. So we're gonna say
No, I'm sorry. So I should reiterate how this works. Just because one person is the narrator doesn't mean the next person has to not do it in a narrator's form. We're no longer setting scenes the way we did beforehand. Now we're doing a few like quick little things from the perspective of one of those three different roles. Does that make sense? So Raz, if you want to describe something from the narrator perspective of the journey of Earl entering this cave, me or Robert could follow up as also describing as a narrator, or we could jam on it in the form of a witness and or a watcher and describe something you talked about, or through the lens of the witness, right? But we don't have to actually do the same pattern rotation anymore for this journey into darkness.
Okay, so Robert described something from some perspective, and then I go on and describe something.
Yeah, you just take turns.
Okay.
All right. So, I guess what am I gonna say? So where is Earl at the cave right now, or
Mine?
at the mine?
Yeah, he's at the entrance of the mines.
Yeah. So I think there's like the broken the broken boards are like as Earl approaches them, like they start to get like his vision starts to not blur, but he can't quite maneuver around the broken boards and things, and they're sharp, and it like scratches him and things as he's going through. Like they seem longer than they are. Like they're almost reaching out
Like
to him.
just stretching out.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but Earl, he's determined to get that cow back, and so he like shoves aside the boards, even though like momentarily those weren't so close in. Got like this bloody scrape on his shoulder, but he continues on. He pushes down deeper into the cave, and he just has this feeling when he reaches that gap that was there before. He has this feeling that he needs to head in there.
Okay. I think from the perspective, another detail I want to add to that is that on his journey to the gap, there are like veins in the rock, perhaps because it's nighttime, that there weren't seen during the day, and that there's veins of some sort of weird mineral in the rocks that has the same pale green glow as the teeth of the Reverend and Belfry.
Yeah, and I feel so Earl, as he kind of starts to move through this gap, he like have you ever felt like when you have that fever, like a fever, and you kind of get that slightly like lightheaded feeling?
The delirium?
Yeah, the kind of delirium, but it comes with that feeling of like your head like just being like incredibly light and you're almost floating.
Mm-hmm.
Like the instant he crosses the threshold of the gap, like that almost stops him like dead in his tracks. He gets this like instantly lightheaded.
How do you spell delirious? There we go. Okay. Earl feels lightheaded, delirious, crossing the gap.
But he like hears those notes of the song, and they like kind of like from before. They don't sound like they would be nice, kind of like those wails from before, but they urge him onward, and he's urged deeper into that strange ruinous hallway that had those designs. But now those glyphs are glowing like bright green.
Oh.
And now with them lit like this, there's this pattern of a doorway, like right before you get to where like it was collapsed, and there's this like circle there where it looks like he could just press his hand.
I think from Earl's perspective, he looks around for any sign of the cow, and says like "Mother of Christ," and just like puts his hand to the doorway, as the rocks and the earth itself gives way and reveals another like a continuation of these man-made tunnels. Only in here the music sounds harmonious. So remember how the music was like a cacophony of like strange sounds and stuff like that? Imagine it's like that music again, but also in like an octave higher and lower, kind of like saying in like the harmony to the like cacophony. So it's like much more of like it's like witnessing surround sound.
Yeah, and I think this tunnel, like it's like dripping, like with some sort of like kind of black green ichor that is just like from the ceiling, and the walls are just, it's like almost flowing down the walls, and but it doesn't like gather on the ground. It just is on the walls and the ceiling.
And how much further are we? How far are we on this?
We're only on 8.
Okay. And like he hears the like above, like just like barely audible, like deeper in is like the faint sound of the moo. Sounds like it's wanting to mate. Anyway,
Why?
so
Okay.
what? Oh no! So he's guided deeper, and there actually is a staircase that goes down.
Nice. So the staircase leads down, and the room gets suddenly very, very cold. Like, so it gets cold, like, it hovers around something like, 25 Celsius or like, 66 or whatever below ground. But this is like mid 40s. Like, this is cold. Like he sees his breath kind of cold, right? And he gets down there. It's super dark. All he has is like the faint light that comes down from the stairway, and there's all these moving shadows that are dangling from the ceiling. And upon closer inspection, it just looks like various things of meat. He looks one over, and he sees like part of like a human arm that wasn't skinned. So it's like just like human arm, or the rest of the body looks like butchered meat. And then there's some other like cows dangling around as well, and then some like deer, and it looks like just a smorgasbord of just like like butchered dangling meat, just dangling, kind of swaying in this cold room.
I think that one of the carcasses like just kind of not swing but just brushes slowly up against him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he just vomits like from like having this like carcass like slowly smushed into his like face, and like
And like he's like retching and like wiping his arm across his mouth, and then he just like tilts his hat down and just like is driven to press on. And like there's another doorway. He goes down deeper.
Does he still hear the moos?
The faint moving. Yes.
Nice.
Guided onward by it.
I think I think he gets into a huge like chamber below ground. It looks almost like a carved out what do you call it? Like St. Peter's Basilica, like you know what I mean, like the dome kind of thing, and it has like and like it's this weird like grotesque obscene mural, like something out of like like Alien or like H.R. Geiger, kind of like just it looks to be like consolidated black green ichor that just seems to have like formed into various like patterns and shapes in like a three-dimensional kind of like what do you call it, like fresco, like so it's like kind of like chipping a little bit, like it's like three-dimensional, or like like a palette, like it doesn't, it's not just flat, it has like thickness to it, and it's like showing these various like patterns and shapes of things with weird like strange wings that just that look like inverted. So they look like, instead of getting like wider going out, they like look in, like it doesn't look right.
Yeah.
So we're in like a big cave,
imagine like a very large like dome like room, so like a circular type looking room.
Do you think
with
this
a strange
is
mural?
The location of the final horror?
Maybe. I'm just saying there's an obscene mural of alien monsters made out of the ichor.
Yeah. So I think as he sees this, and that the kind of mooing and sounds of the cow start to get lower, and then start to it's like and like there's this weird like sounds of like shifting and strange like almost gagging.
I had the bird after this.
uh and like as that starts to fill his ears, like fluttering passes by out of the corner of his eye.
And then like all this weird light, this green ichor, it's draining down to the center of this giant room into like a huge circle. And it's like it becomes like this pool of light, like this huge pool of light where he's standing like a few feet from the edge, and suddenly it like shimmers like rippling water, and like out comes this giant claw that has the neck of the cow pierced on a single talon.
Oh. With the head of a cow.
Yep.
On a... I'm running out of room. On a single talon. Well, that's the 12th one, which means we're ready for the final horror scene. So we're about to reach the final scene of the game. The witness now is going to see the true horror that so far has only been hinted at. This scene will either involve a direct encounter with a monster or a revelation of worldview-shattering proportions. I wonder which one we'll choose. Or maybe both. One of us has to volunteer to decide what the true horror is and be the narrator for this scene. We have all been writing our ideas down as we go, or maybe keeping them in our thought pad. So this shouldn't be too hard. The narrator will have to weave a horror that explains all the clues that we've seen so far, but they need not explain it all to us during this scene, as long as they don't ignore any clues entirely.
So, who all has ideas? Because I have an idea.
Oh, I have an idea.
What about you, Robert? Do you have an idea that you want to do the story through?
My best idea, I don't think fits quite anymore.
Okay.
But
well, why don't we like roll a D2 between me and Eric?
No. I say it to you, Ras. You're very excited for this. I want you to go, man.
Okay.
So
all right. I'm gonna do it. All right. So this pool, it's no longer just like light on the floor. It's water, and like, not just water. I mean, like it's just like it's like a portal of some sort. And out of it, like out of the very earth and this weird ichor, comes this gigantic creature. Huge talons digging into the earth. This cow's bleeding head still on a single claw as it presses down on the ground and lifts itself up over the edge.
And just on the edge of your hearing, you hear the bird song of Belfry.
And yeah, that song's like echoing throughout the chamber now. Like it like rises and it's echoing through it like a million voices. And like the beak did like you see like a huge like crow like beak coming off of it.
I think
and like yeah.
I think Earl grabs his six shooter and fires 5 shots into it, saving the last one.
And the creature just like, I mean, like, that's a shrill laugh, like a bird just like cawing.
Yeah, it just. So what? Describe, Watcher.
Uh-huh.
Describe the bullets as it hits it. What happens?
So like
these ineffective things just don't do anything. So what happens?
As you unload it, like it's like bullets hitting like a viscous liquid, like they just like into like the form of this bird, like it's just for just a moment just kind of changes its form and the bullets just disappear.
Yeah,
and as it rises up, you see that the arms are not just merely arms, like they're feathers, and they're actually actual wings with talons on the end. and it lifts itself up and sets more like the talons of its feet on the ground, rising up to span like the height of the entire chamber, even having to stoop a little, looking down on him with black eyes with just like glowing dot in them. So he's looking down at Earl, and like Earl hears what? Go ahead.
No, I think seeing the futility of his bullets, I think he turns the gun and with the last bullet on himself to save himself from whatever this thing is going to do to him.
Interesting.
I think as so right as Earl puts the gun to his head, he gets that like he remembers like the canary, like the red canary is just bam, like right into his head, like he remembers the fluttering and all of this stuff, like before he pulls the trigger, like right when he just puts it to his head, the red canary is like vivid in his brain.
Do you pull the trigger?
No, do I see the red canary anywhere, or do I just see this ungodly monstrosity hulking, like lumbering towards me?
Right now, you only see the monstrosity in front of you.
I think like Earl closes his eyes and like is trembling and thinks like he needs to pull the trigger, but then he just like sighs and just like, I can't do it, and just runs and just like.
There's no exit. The exit's gone. There's nowhere to go, and you hear this ungodly voice in your mind. It's like this. It's like those echoing wails, but you can actually understand what it's saying, and it forms into like a single voice of many voices, like combined, like a choral voice. And it's like, son. And I'm gonna end it there. What's up? We don't have to say what. I mean, we can. We haven't. I'm gonna end this part of the scene. Eric, are you there?
Yeah, I think Eric's muted.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, there you go. Hi.
Oh, sorry. I think my microphone got disconnected for a second.
Much,
No, I bumped my microphone and got it disconnected for a second. I'm sorry about that.
So like, this is pass the guide. So he's encountered it, and we found out a few things.
So, well, hold on. So, after the final horror scene, we do the epilogue.
Yeah.
And the epilogue is where our story is concluded, but we're going to have an epilogue to reveal a little of what happens next, both to the witness, but also to the horror they encountered. We don't play this out, but we just narrate it as a scene or a series of short scenes, or perhaps through another medium like a newspaper article or something later on. The narrator's role is to decide what happens to the horror. They have to show how the horror is still out there in a world in some form, even if our witness somehow managed to defeat the horror, which in our case they didn't. Their job is to show that this is a hollow victory with no real long-term impact. So,
I'd like to. I mean, I have an idea of what happens what happens to this end scene that kind of like reveals things. We can say like, and then we can. If you want to do that, and then we can.
How about we go to break for our last and final break, and then we do the big reveal. So hang on tight, friends. Our final epilogue and what our thoughts of the game and our alternate endings and director's commentary coming up next in the next and final hour of Once Upon a Game.
Are we no longer live?